Hello everybody, my name is Cameron Brown and a warm welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be super interesting, I promise. Smash like on this video if you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel if you're new today. Today we'll be talking about how people used to think I was autistic when I was much younger. Now obviously the title of this video is my parents used to think I was autistic, and I want to mention that that was correct. I want to clarify straight off the bat that my parents are good parents. It's not like they believed that I was autistic because they were trying to like insult me or anything like that, or because they were completely wrong. It's just because a lot of people thought I had lots of symptoms related to people who have autism. And when I explain some of these symptoms, when I explain through some of the things I used to do, you'll understand why quite a few people used to think I was autistic. I can say with full confidence that I'm not autistic, and even if I was, there'd be nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't be bothered about it personally. But I get a lot of comments saying that I'm autistic, saying that I'm on the spectrum, and I think it very much just shows how dumb a lot of people are when it comes to autism, because just because you act in a certain way, it doesn't mean you're autistic. Autism is a development issue. Like people who are autistic are not as well developed as, say, normal humans, you know. Emotionally, they're not as good as recognizing what's considered weird, they're not as good at socializing, and also they do things which other people would see as ridiculous. As daft as this is going to sound, there are actually benefits to being autistic. A lot of autistic people get very obsessed about specific topics and specific subjects, most likely, and this can relate to having a great knowledge of certain subjects, which can actually help in the long term. But at the end of the day, you know, being autistic in the long run, it doesn't really, like, it's not that bad, okay? It's not like that horrendous of a thing, and it's just daft how people call me autistic sometimes. I mean, it doesn't bother me, I'm not affected by it. I know that I'm not autistic, you know, all my family don't think I'm autistic or whatever, but it's just funny how people used to think I was autistic. And seriously, some of the stories that I have to tell you guys are just hilarious to look back on. They really are. So anyway, I want to talk about some things that I used to do which caused people to believe that I was autistic. And this is really weird, okay? These stories are completely weird, and you know, I would say, you know, looking at some of the traits of autistic people, I used to have a lot of the traits. And as I grew up, the amount of traits that I actually had kind of decreased. You know, I still have some of the traits now. I mean, I still talk to myself, but not really in like a normal conversation way. I'm not like, oh, hello, Cameron, how's the weather? Oh, the weather's quite nice. I don't talk to myself like that. When I talk to myself, I normally plan videos. I don't think that's weird though, because like actors and actresses, like they practice their lines. It's quite similar to that, I think, so I don't think there's anything like weird about that, but that's something that I do that not many people obviously do. But that's probably just because I'm a YouTuber, and also I used to be quite bad when it came to emotions. I used to be not particularly empathetic. I used to be too harsh and just too angry. Like that's genuinely how I used to be. That's changed quite a bit recently. In the past year or so, I've become much more emotional. Not as in I cry every night. I don't. I'm still not that emotional of a person, but I have a lot more emotions than what I used to have. And I'm very good at understanding people's emotions now. I never used to be. So with age, I've kind of become less autistic, which makes absolutely no sense, because autism is not something that, you know, gets better over time. You know, you're born autistic and you continue to be autistic. It doesn't change. Anyway, let me go through some of the funny stories. I think I've mentioned some of them before, but it's a good video, I promise, guys. Let me go through some of the stories that indicated to other people that I was autistic. So number one was at school. I've definitely mentioned this before, but when I was young, I never really used to have good friends. It was pretty weird. Like, I remember in year 5 when I moved to my junior school, I only wanted to hang around with people who were cool. I never really wanted to hang around with people who were not cool, you know, because that's how it worked. Friendship groups were very prevalent back at junior school, and I only wanted to hang out with the cool people. Funny enough, they didn't want to hang out with me, maybe because I would literally run around in the playground pretending to be a vehicle. I actually remember this guy who did something very similar at my junior school, which is actually worse than acting as a car. He used to act like a dinosaur, so he'd have like his hands like this. Oh wow, that's a great pose to me. I look really sexy right now, guys. But literally, he'd walk around like this and he would pretend to like eat grass and trees and crap. He'd be like, and he would make the sound. It was so cringy. It was worse than me, I promise, guys. And I'd literally go around the playground, you know, pretending to be a car. And you know what? I'll give myself some credit. It's not that weird. Like, it was in year 5, year 6. Maybe I was a bit old to be acting like that. But kids naturally do act weird. So it wasn't ridiculously weird, but it was just because I was acting like that at such an older age. I think the guy who acted like a dinosaur, I think he actually was autistic, not gonna lie. But anyway, yeah, I used to act like that, and that used to be pretty odd. You know, loads of kids that'd be hanging out with each other, and then they'll just see me running up and down the length of the playground pretending to be a vehicle. It was pretty dumb. And I also did it with aircraft, trains, and honestly, it's just really cringy thinking about it in advance. But you know, that was the main indication to me being like autistic or just being flat out weird, pretty much. I remember at my junior school, there used to be like fences. All the people outside of the school could watch us, watch the kids playing, which doesn't really make any sense thinking about it. And it still exists to this day. I remember loads of people used to just stare at me and I used to not care. And that was the biggest thing, right? A lot of people associate someone who's autistic with someone who acts like really weirdly, but doesn't like understand how it's weird. Like a lot of people think that through my videos, you know, I'm really weird in them, whatever. I don't know what they're talking about though. I'm perfectly normal in my videos. What are you about? Ugh. But like a lot of people, I think they recognize how I act weird in my videos, but I think people assume that I'm acting like that because I don't know that it's not normal. I do know that the way I act in some of my videos is not normal. That's why I'm not like that in real life, you know? It's good to be weird, but like when you're really weird, like I act really weird in some of my videos, I understand that. But I understand it's weird, I just don't care about it. A lot of people like to make it out like I don't act like that. That's actually me, and I don't understand how it's weird because I don't understand society because, you know, I'm autistic. That's what a lot of people like to say, and that's just completely ludicrous thinking about it. The second thing I used to do, and this is just really weird, I used to get obsessed with very specific things. And you know how people get obsessed with trains, trees. Why did I say trees? There's trees outside. That's why I said trees. God dang it. I promise I was never interested in trees. Urgh. No, seriously, I used to be obsessed with goddamn air fresheners. I'm not even joking. So there's these machines I used to buy. I don't remember what company they were. I think it was Airwick or something like that. And they had these automatic dispensers. So you put like a spray into the dispenser and it would spray it at constant intervals. And it would make your room smell nice. And I used to be obsessed with them. I really don't know why. I literally bought like only one, but I don't know why I was so obsessed with it. Like all the flavors and everything. It was so weird. Like literally, I only had it in my room for like a couple of weeks, but I was literally obsessed with buying it for like 4 or 5 months before I actually got it. I was actively excited every day. I was thinking about this goddamn air freshener for 4 or 5 months. And then when I put it up, you know, my dad has asthma and I have asthma, so it had to be like taken away. So literally I had the goddamn air freshener for like a week. It was really depressing, but I don't know what it was. I don't even know what I liked about it. It's just an air freshener. Like with cars, you know, they go fast, they sound cool, but an air freshener, like, what the fuck? Okay, it was really weird. And honestly, that's just so weird. I also used to be really obsessed with rechargeable batteries. I kid you not. These Energizer rechargeable batteries, I remember them. I used to be obsessed with how you could just recharge them. Like, it's so weird. I don't get it. And like, I remember I'd jump on my trampoline and be super excited and I'd pretend that I'm like doing an advertisement for them. So I'd be like jumping on the trampoline like this, guys. This is how you jump on the trampoline if you didn't know. New Energizer rechargeable batteries, they charge in 8 hours. I'd get like really super excited about it, and I don't know why, because they're just goddamn rechargeable batteries. Oh my god. And the last thing I used to do a lot, I used to get like really anxious about things that weren't logical at all. So if you guys don't know, I actually have like a anxiety disorder. I don't think I've ever talked about it. I haven't talked about it recently because for a long time on YouTube, you know, I never really talked about myself. I used to make like gaming videos, tutorial videos. You know, I never cared about talking about things about me. And generally speaking, my anxiety disorder is nowhere near as bad as what it used to be. So I've never really seen the need to talk about it. But I have an anxiety disorder. But when I was younger, it was a lot worse, and I would get very anxious about things that just were completely not logical, like completely random. Like for so long, I was nervous about the end of the world, and this was genuinely so scary. I remember I don't know why, I was just hanging out one day, I was looking outside at the moon, and I saw the moon like change, and I saw an article saying that the world's ending, and I was terrified. I was so scared. I literally just cried for hours for no reason. And I know it sounds weird, and I know this isn't really a funny story, but it was just crazy to me how I literally saw one article saying the world's gonna end. and then I literally looked outside, looked at all the stars, and I saw the moon, and it slightly changed. Probably just an hallucination, probably. I was crazy back then, guys. I probably hallucinated it. I saw the moon, like, change in colour, like, changing a little bit of hue. It became a little bit blue, and I literally was so scared, and it was terrifying. And, like, this is the thing, though. Like, something I was thinking about is how scary the world must be to people who suffer with being autistic. And I do feel bad for a lot of people who are autistic just because they have to deal with, you know, dealing with a lot of triggers that other people don't see as triggers just because they're different, you know? Anyway, guys, I'm going to end this video here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Don't know if it was that funny, but I just wanted to talk about this because I thought it was quite interesting. Smash a like on this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new today, and I'll be seeing you guys later. Bye!